Students, welcome to today's General English class. In today's class, we will learn about the poem, The Voice of the Rain. We will learn a detailed summary of the poem, The Voice of the Rain. But before that, we will also do a reading of the poem, because poem is all about music, poem is all about rhythm. So without doing a reading of the poem, we cannot proceed with the detailed summary. So let us first of all do the reading of the poem, The Voice of the Rain, and then I will give you or provide you a detailed summary of the poem. So let us start. I am your ma'am, Munmi ma'am. Alright. The voice of the rain. And who art thou, said I to the soft falling shower, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer as here translated. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. Upward to heaven, whence vaguely form, altogether changed and yet the same. I descend to lave the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. And forever, by day and night, I gave back life to my own origin and make pure and beautify it. For song, issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. Now from the title of the poem, we can make out the voice of the rain. We can make out that in this poem, the rain speaks. So the poem is in the form of a dialogue or conversation between the poet Walt Whitman and the soft falling raindrops. The poet Walt Whitman, as we know, is a nature poet. He is greatly fascinated by the soft falling shower, the soft falling raindrops. As he is greatly fascinated, he cannot stop himself from asking the rain the question about who she is. Okay, so he asks the question who she is. He wants to know who the rain is. However, the poet gets completely surprised when he gets an answer from the rain, because we know that rain is an inanimate object and it cannot speak. It is an object of nature. It is inanimate. Speaking is something which is completely attributed to human beings. So if we get an answer from an inanimate object like rain, obviously we will get surprised. So the poet Walt Whitman also gets surprised when he gets an answer from the rain, because he least expected that answer. And as it is spoken by the rain, therefore it won't be understood by the other readers. It won't be understood by the readers. Therefore the poet translates the statement of the rain into a human speech so that the readers can also understand. The poet translates, as I told you, the poet translates the answer of the rain into human speech so that the readers can also understand it, because the language spoken by the rain is not it won't be easily understood by human beings, because it is spoken in a different kind of strange language. Now the rain, it says that she has a life cycle. Okay, so basically the rain is talking about her cyclical nature, or the life cycle, which is crucial for the survival, or which is crucial for the existence of life on this earth, because without rain, what happened? There won't be any life. So therefore the rain talks about the rain cycle, which is crucial to the life on earth actually. So the rain says this is the song of earth. So why the rain calls itself the song of earth, it will be revealed in the last two lines of the poem, which are put in brackets. Now the rain calls itself the song of earth, and she considers the earth to be her mother or her birthplace. And the rain, due to the process of evaporation, what happened? The water bodies, they get dried up. The water bodies on the land, such as lake, other water bodies like your sea or the ponds, so these water bodies get dried up, and they rises up in the form of impalpable vapor. So these vapor cannot be seen by our naked eyes. Okay, so they rises upward in the form of impalpable vapor, and then they form vague clouds. Okay, so the water bodies gets dried up. They rises upwards towards the infinite heights of the sky, and there they form clouds of vague shapes. Like these clouds are not of definite shape but of vague shape, and they stay in the sky for a shorter period. And when the process of your condensation takes place, precipitation and condensation takes place, then what happen? Your the rain, it comes back to the earth in the form of soft falling shower or rain. It comes back in its original form. It again comes back to the earth, to its birthplace, to its mother, in the form of soft falling shower or rain. So basically the rain is talking about its life cycles, how it follows the process of condensation, process of evaporation, precipitation. So how this entire process takes place, that is described with the help of the answer. However, the answer provided by the rain doesn't end there. Okay, so the rain answer doesn't only end with the life cycle of the rain, like the process of evaporation, condensation and precipitation doesn't only end there. The rain also says that when it comes to the earth, when it comes back to its birthplace or its mother or its origin, then it doesn't come in a passive manner. Rather, it goes on conducting numerous activities which are crucial for the existence of life on this earth. So the rain basically talks about its restorative power, how it nurtures and nourishes life on this earth. So when the rain comes back to the earth, it at first provides relief to the drought-ridden areas. So when rainfall doesn't take place for a long time, what happens? The areas become dry. A drought-like condition actually appear. You have noticed in places where rainfall doesn't take place, where rainfall is very rare, you will see drought-like condition arising. So when this drought-like condition arises and the rain comes back to its origin, then the rain provides relief to the drought-ridden areas by providing water to these areas, by providing rain to these areas. And then this rain also helps in the rejuvenation of unborn and latent seeds. So without rain, what happens? The seeds will remain unborn and latent inside the earth. But when the water falls on the unborn and latent seeds in the form of rain, these unborn and latent seeds transform into life. They transform into plants, they transform into seedlings, and then gradually they turn into beautiful trees. So the rain gives art, beauty and purity. So the ever going cycle of the rain is very important for the existence of life on this earth, because without rain the drought conditions will never disappear, and without rain the unborn and latent cells will never be transformed into life. So the rain is an ever going process. Its cycle will never stop. It will always follow the process of condensation, evaporation, condensation and precipitation. So this process will always go on and on and on, and due to the functioning of this process, life has been possible on this earth. So the earth does not only becomes lively, only life is also possible on this earth. At the same time, the earth becomes beautiful also due to the presence of the rain. And here we have to talk about the last two lines of the poem. Why? Because these two lines of the poem are of utmost significance, because they do not form a part of the dialogue and conversation between the poet Walt Whitman and the rain, because these two lines are put within brackets. So this shows that it is completely separate from the dialogue which is taking place between the poet and the rain. Now these two lines which are put within brackets, it doesn't contain the answer provided by the rain, rather it provides the poet's commentary on the answer provided by the rain. So he is just providing a conclusion on what he has learned from the answer. So the poet draws a similarity, or he draws a comparison between the soft falling shower rain and a song. Okay, so remember the rain earlier said that it is the poem of the earth, it is the song of earth. So here the revelation gets clear, because the poet calls the rain the song. Okay, so it is just like a song. It is parallel to a song, or it is compared with a song. Why? Because both the life cycle of the rain and song are alike. So both follow a life cycle. The rain also follows a life cycle, and the rain also follows a life cycle. So the rain, first of all, it originates from the land and the sea in the form of impalpable vapor, and then after staying in the sky for a shorter period of time as clouds, it again comes back in its original form, and to its origin, to the earth, to its mother place, after fulfilling all its tasks. And similarly, the song or a poem also does the same thing. So a song or a poem, when it is written, it at first issues from the heart of the poet. It comes out from the heart of the singer or the poet, and then it travels to reach others. Okay, it travels, the song or the poem travels to reach others, and then after being appreciated or not appreciated. So sometimes what happens, the song or the poem might be appreciated, sometimes it not might be appreciated, but eventually after fulfilling the task of providing satisfaction to others, providing pleasure to others, providing music to others, it finally comes back to its origin, finally comes back to its creator in the form of due love and appreciation from the side of the audience. So the audience will be providing love and appreciation, and it comes back to its creator, the poet or the singer. So the singer realizes its value and understand that the song is being appreciated by others, and it gives him satisfaction. So indirectly you can say that just like the rain, which provides life, satisfaction, beauty and pleasure to its origin, to its birthplace, the earth, the poem or the song also provides pleasure, satisfaction, or appreciation, or it provides beauty to the heart of the poet, because the poet realizes that his song or poem is being appreciated by people, and he is getting applause for that, he is getting love and recognition for that.